Ben, I wanna compliment you, and then ask a question. First, a compliment just on your growth and development over these three fast off seasons. I remember Coach Prime first got there and said he was bringing in a lot of Louis luggage, and a lot of guys in the room would be leaving, and you said out loud without being called upon that you wasn't going nowhere,
Yeah.
and here you are. You, Charlie Offerdall, and some others. Talk about the prime effect on your life and your growth as a student athlete, being coached under him to go from of course, original buff status, but truly a leader on this team now.
Right. Um, yeah, I mean, the effect that he's had on me, I can't even begin to describe. Um, and I think one of the reason I'm taking the biggest strides now is like in the past, I had felt like I've never really had coaches that truly believed in me. And I feel like now every coach on this staff, and especially like Coach Prime, I know he's always believed in me, but especially now, I think he really truly believes in me and believes what I can be, and like what a the mark I've left on this place and how people flock towards guys like me. And so I think just the potential that he saw in me from the start, I think has been honestly one of the biggest things for helping me improve and helping me turn into the player and the leader that I'm becoming. And so, yeah, I think that's the case for a lot of guys too, Charlie included. Obviously Charlie's not quite as vocal as me and that kind of stuff, but his work ethic and the way that people should strive to want to push themselves the way he does and like stuff like that. It's, how do I say this? I think the biggest thing has just been the way that Coach Prime has believed in us. And it's been an interesting ride the last 3 years. Obviously, we haven't run things like most programs do, and that's why we've stuck out like a sore thumb. And people are, and I think that's how college football is honestly going to start changing too. But yeah, just the way that he has seen our potential through all of the cuttings and the transfer portals and the bringing new guys in and other guys leaving, and there's reasons that we stick around, and I think that it's part of that is because of the mentality that he showed us. So
yeah. And follow up that same thing with your defense coordinator, who's also the safety coach, Rob Livingston. What is his presence meant to your growth as a player and as a person as well?
Oh my goodness, he's people. Obviously, he got that nice contract extension because of how good of a coach he is. But a lot of people probably don't see is his leadership. That's what I've learned so much about him, just how to be a leader and how to talk to certain players. And like, that's another thing that I've learned from Coach Prime is, he said this at the high school clinic the other day, getting to know your personnel as a coach. And I think as a player, that's just as important. You can't talk to certain teammates a certain way that you'd talk to another guy. And so like everyone takes coaching differently, and you got to understand that. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned from Coach Livingston, and just understanding like you don't have to be that guy that's got your neck veins and your forehead veins sticking out screaming at somebody to get your point across. And I think those days are for the most part done for. Like those, kids are changing, and you can't talk to kids a lot of the same ways that you used to. And it's unfortunate, but it's just how it is. And so you got to learn to adapt. And I think so. That's been a really cool thing to learn from him, is just how to be a leader and how to speak accordingly. So
Ben, talk to me about what Coach Swasey has brought to you personally in the strength and conditioning portion of the spring so far.
Oh my goodness, I love Coach Swasey. The main thing which is what I really liked about him, is the focus on the run portion and like the run technique and just how we move. Like I feel like that's one of the things that I needed to work on the most, because obviously like lifting is a big focus, but for me personally, someone who's like a bigger safety, like I need movement skills, and it's the way that the game has changed. We need to be able to move in space now. And so I feel like that's how strength and conditioning should kind of be shifted towards and focused towards. And I feel like Coach Swasey has done a really good job at that. And so I appreciate like the on-field work and the the stuff that he focuses on the field rather than, in the weight room. Obviously, we still lift and all that, and all that's super important. But just the sport specific movements have been, I think, the biggest takeaway for me that I really liked with him. So yeah, it's been really
first
good.
annual NIL Mixer event.
Denise Smith, State Farm agent, and she's a CUM alum athlete based in Colorado. She's teaming up with Esquire Sports, and they're pleased to announce that this event, their inaugural NIL Mixer, on Thursday, April 3rd. That's the Thursday right before the Friday, which is the Pro Day. So the Thursday before the Pro Day, April 3rd, at Rosetta Hall on Walnut Street. They're doing this networking event, bringing together NIL and businesses. It's a premier networking event designed to connect businesses with CU student athletes for NIL partnerships, creating meaningful opportunities for brand collaborations and endorsements. They anticipate NIL deals will be done at the event as local and national businesses have committed to attending. First event of its kind, Ocho. First one.
Indeed. And
First
DJ
one.
Fedora is going to be there, our dog.
Woo! Not
DJ.
DJ Fedora. Not DJ Fedora. Shout out to Fedora. Fedora probably in the house too.
Most
He
definitely.
texted me the other day, man.
So if you are an influencer, if you're an athlete, you need to make sure you be at this event right here. You want to connect and shake hands and network and meet and greet different businesses from around the Boulder, Denver metro area. That's where you need to be at Rosetta Hall, 1109 Walnut Street in Boulder, where it's cold. Who's going to be there?
I'm going to be there. And I think my Uncle Byron coming. Oh, my God.
Uncle Neely gonna be in the building, so y'all make sure y'all go through there and check him out.
You see
shake
me,
hands
make sure it's me and not my Uncle Byron.
Kind of what we expected, and it wasn't. So the way they handled the situation is exactly how we would have parented, and we actually gained another level of respect for Coach Prime and Coach Kelly through that. So,
there was definitely things that we can see because we've known Ben for, all the years growing up. And there's things that we know that he's capable of, that he's gotten comfortable with. And so then, just like every human being, once you get comfortable with something, you don't necessarily want to step outside that comfort zone. But we know what he's capable of, and we know what could get accomplished, and we know that there's a much greater good if he would step into that and step into that discomfort. And we kind of had some hard conversations with him also about that. And like Robert said, when he had that conversation with Coach Prime about the scholarship, I think that's when Robert and I realized Coach Prime and us as parents, we're really working on the same page. We might be going about it a little bit differently, but we're actually working on the same page because we want what's best for Ben, and so does Coach Prime. And he's going to push him in that respect, just as Robert and I push him in those respects.